You wouldn't believe the journey Marlon Wayans went through. Losing his parents completely tore him apart, leaving a void that was impossible to fill. It wasn't just the pain of grief. It felt like a relentless storm that kept hitting him, wave after wave. Over the span of just 3 years, he lost 58 people who were dear to him. His mother, his father, and many close friends. One by one, they were gone. For most, this kind of loss would be too much to bear. But Marlon's response wasn't what anyone expected. Marlon was always known as someone who could make others laugh, but during this period, he found himself consumed by sadness. July 2020 marked the death of his mother, Elvivara. That loss alone was devastating and would have been enough to break anyone. Then, in April 2023, his father, Howell, passed away, compounding his grief in unimaginable ways. It was as if the weight of the world had come crashing down on him. He began to see his life in a completely new light, one that was marked by loss and the feeling that everything familiar was slipping away. What made it even more profound was how Marlon interpreted these events. He likened his struggles to something biblical, as though he was being put through a divine test. At first, he was paralyzed by the enormity of it all. Losing his mother felt like shattering into countless pieces. She wasn't just his mom, she was his everything. Marlon had never married and often said no woman could ever take the place his mother held in his heart. When she passed, it felt like a part of him had vanished. The pain was overwhelming, but it wasn't just sadness, it was confusion, emptiness, and the terrifying realization that life as he knew it would never be the same. But then came the unexpected twist. Instead of letting his grief consume him, Marlon did something extraordinary. He turned it into comedy. Yes, you heard that right. The same pain that nearly destroyed him became the foundation of his 4th comedy special, titled Good Grief. It was his way of finding laughter even in the darkest corners of his life. What's even more surprising is that he didn't do this just for himself. Marlon felt a calling to share that laughter with others who were grieving. He believed that humor was a bridge, a survival tool to get through the hardest times. Of course, not everyone saw it that way. Some people thought it was far too soon to joke about such deep pain. They felt it was inappropriate, almost disrespectful to make light of such heavy subjects. Others, however, saw it as a stroke of genius. And just when you think you've grasped the full story, there's another layer. For Marlon, the loss of his parents wasn't just about losing loved ones. It went deeper than that. It was about a shift in identity. For so long, he had been a son first. No matter how successful he became in his career, he had his parents to ground him, to remind him of where he came from. Losing them forced him to confront a new reality. I don't have parents anymore, he admitted. Now I'm a man. That simple statement carried so much weight. It signified a transformation, a new chapter in his life where he had to navigate the world without the anchors of his past. In this new phase, Marlon found himself turning to prayer in ways he never had before. It wasn't just a routine or habit, it became a way of staying connected to his parents. He imagined that when he prayed, he was speaking directly to them. He confided in them, shared his thoughts, and found comfort in the belief that they were still listening. This spiritual connection helped him cope, providing a sense of solace amidst the chaos. And then came good grief. Initially, it was just an idea, a personal project to process his emotions. But as Marlon developed it, he realized it was more than comedy. It was therapy. Every time he stepped on stage, he wasn't just delivering jokes, he was releasing his pain. The special was laced with humor, but beneath the laughter were profound truths about life, death, and the human experience. He tackled topics like heartbreak and loss in a way that resonated with audiences, making them smile through their tears. Marlon believed that if he could laugh at his own pain, maybe others could find the strength to do the same. The death of Chadwick Boseman, one of his close friends, added yet another layer to his grief. Losing someone so young and talented made everything feel even more real and raw. It was almost too much to process, but instead of shying away, Marlon leaned into those emotions. He transformed his feelings into stories and humor, creating moments that were both heartfelt and hilarious. What made Marlon's approach so unique was the emotional depth behind his comedy. He wasn't just aiming for laughs. He wanted to make people feel something. Some audiences embraced it wholeheartedly, while others struggled to know how to react. Was he pushing boundaries too far? Was he trivializing grief? Or was he doing something groundbreaking, turning sorrow into art? Regardless of the reactions, one thing was undeniable. Marlon Wayans had been forever changed. Through it all, Marlon came to see grief in a way that most people never do. He believed that if he could laugh at his darkest moments, then nothing in life could truly break him. But this perspective wasn't without controversy. Many people weren't ready to laugh about subjects like death and loss, seeing his approach as insensitive. Marlon, however, saw it differently. To him, pain was universal, and if we can cry together, we should also be able to laugh together. That belief became the cornerstone of good grief. It wasn't just about mourning. It was about resilience and survival. As Marlon reflected on his journey, he realized that grief had fundamentally changed him. It forced him to reevaluate his childhood, his career, and his relationships. Suddenly, everything seemed to make more sense. He came to understand that grief doesn't just alter you, it reveals who you truly are. In moments of reflection, he felt his parents' presence guiding him. His mother's voice seemed to echo in his mind, urging him to stay strong. His father's influence was palpable in the way he carried himself. Though he missed them deeply, he found growth in their absence, a growth that was both terrifying and liberating. By the time Good Grief was completed, Marlon felt a sense of relief he hadn't experienced in years. Turning his pain into something meaningful gave him a sense of purpose. The special wasn't just for him, it was for anyone who had ever lost someone they loved. He wanted to show people that grief isn't the end. It's just another chapter in the story of life. Even during the special, there were moments when the weight of his emotions surfaced. On stage, he allowed himself to feel the full depth of his pain. "I still hurt," he admitted. "But man, I rescued myself." That sentiment encapsulated the message he wanted to share. No matter how broken you feel, you can find a way to survive. Marlon came to believe that his grief had made him a better person, not just a better comedian, but a more authentic human being. He learned to transform his most painful experiences into something powerful. And above all, he discovered that laughter isn't just for entertainment, it's a tool for survival. So, did Marlon Wayans cross a line? Or did he prove that humor is one of the most profound ways to heal? Love it or hate it, one thing is certain. Good Grief isn't just a comedy special. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of laughter. Marlon Wayans may never be the same, but perhaps that's exactly the point.